more of my interview with Ashraf Ghani, who left Afghanistan almost exactly 1 year ago as the Taliban took control of the capital, Kabul. So let's look forward. As you say, the country is in dire straits. Should the Biden administration provide funds to the Taliban? As you know, this is a very, very complicated or a very fraught issue because it will be portrayed as providing money to a Taliban government which has violated all kinds of human rights norms. On the other hand, the Afghan people are starving. What should the United States do?
Internally, the Taliban are divided. There are dual centers of power minimally. The younger generation has a lot of capability, but they have not been brought to the forefront. There has to be discussion of the direction of Afghanistan. This is a serious challenge to the Muslim world, to the region, to the neighbors, to Europe in terms of the refugee flows and others, and of course to the world at large. The United States needs to make a decision. I do not advocate violence, but internal legitimacy, a process, not persons, not again a collection of warlords, but a process where the Afghan people, for once, are empowered to chart their way to the liberation is key to international legitimacy. In terms of money, I have ideas on market-based solutions that could create jobs and opportunities for Afghans in general and for Afghan women and the families of martyrs. The United States does not have implementation capacity anymore. It is so taken by contractors. All the money, at least 80% or 90% of the money that came to Afghanistan went to large contractors. And they take a cut of from 40% to 80%. This money did not reach Afghanistan. And humanitarian aid, now they want to take the money that I saved. I left $9 billion of reserve. I increased it almost by a third during my tenure. That's money that we had secured through incredibly hard work with the IMF and others. You do it this year as humanitarian aid. Where will the money come for next year or the year after that? We have to focus back on the possibilities. Afghanistan is a roundabout. It's the heart of Asia if the region can come. Unfortunately, as you know extraordinarily well, the competitions now between big powers, the atmosphere is so difficult that we need to think outside the box to seeing how can we bring the region, the Islamic voices, and the global voices together to help the Afghan people.
And what will you do personally? What is the personal future for Ashraf Ghani?
When I'm writing, I've dived deeply into the past 20 years. I'm now assessing it and distilling it in a series of articles and books. 2, I learned to deal with uncertainty. And uncertainty, I'm working on a book called The Age of Global Uncertainty. Uncertainty surrounds us.
Do you imagine you will be back in Afghanistan?
I hope so, very much. It's my home. I belong to a family that has stayed in one village about between 500 and 600 years. And in the last 300 years, almost every generation, we have lost everything. So exile is not foreign to us, but my heart beats with all Afghans. There are 28 strata that have been really devastated by the Taliban regime. The 3 majorities, women, youth, and the poor, are collapsing. hope is gone. A sense of belonging is not there. The world needs to think in terms of its own interest. Do you want millions more of refugees to knock on your doors, or can you think about ways of stabilizing? Those who were saying that the Taliban have changed, the Taliban needed healing. They needed the embrace of a society to be able to integrate them. And don't forget, they are highly traumatized. And now, unfortunately, their sense of revenge, their sense of repression, and reciprocating some of the repression that they'd experienced in exclusion is being repeated on a scale. I want to be able to help my country heal, and I hope to be able to do that from the place that every cell of my body belongs, and without which I always feel alien.
Ashraf Ghani, pleasure to have you on. Thank you, sir.